What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Cure Cycling. It has been a super long time since I've done any sort of bike review for the channel, and today I've got a pretty good one. It's the Polygon Siskiu T7E. That's right, it's the e-bike version of the Polygon Siskiu T7, the Siskiu T7E. Now, at the time of me recording this video, it is currently on sale at $36.99 US, which is an extremely good value, but even the retail figure of $41.99 US is a solid value as well. So let's not waste any time. Let's check this bike out. All right, let's drop in. So who are e-bikes for? Well, that's a bit of a loaded question, and depending on who you're talking to, you might get a completely different answer. For me personally, I think e-bikes are best suited for riders who are pushed for time. If you're the type of rider that only gets maybe an hour or two a day to get out and ride, you're gonna get way more laps out of an e-bike. So it's definitely worth considering. Now, I know people who feel e-bikes have a completely different place, like my buddy Evan will tell you. It's great for a training tool, zone 2 training and stuff like that. So it's up to you to decide if you need an e-bike or want an e-bike. But if you do decide by the end of this video that this is the right bike for you, make sure to use my link. It supports the channel and you don't pay anything extra. Oh my goodness. And yes, that's my first run downhill on this bike. It's sick. All right, while I'm bumbling up this climb, let's talk about what you get for your money with the Polygon Siskiu T7E. So starting with what makes it electric, you get the brand new Shimano EP801 motor with the 630 watt-hour battery, plenty of power, plenty of range, and you get 3 different modes. You have Eco, Trail, and Boost. Moving on, let's talk about the drivetrain. So it's mostly SLX. You have the SLX shifter, SLX derailleur, but the cassette is the Dior level, which is just a little bit heavier than the SLX, but it's also entirely steel, which is probably a good thing when we're talking about e-bikes. They tend to wear out drivetrain parts faster. And to match the SLX energy, my bike was equipped with the SLX 4-pot brakes, even though on the website it does say SRAM code R. I can only assume that there were some supply issues, but I'll be honest with you, I prefer the SLX brakes to the SRAM code Rs. Suspension is provided by SR Suntour. On this bike, you have the Ion Evo fork and the Tri-Air 2 rear shock. Now, I'm a big fan of Suntour components. I've made that clear. If you are on the fence about Suntour yourself, I'll leave a link for my Suntour analysis video when I also was on the fence about their products. I personally am stoked that they spec'd it on the Siskiu T7E. I think more people need to familiarize themselves with the SR Suntour products before they are so quick to judge. I'd love to speak more on the spec, but we have to take a quick break. Let's give her a send. Ooh, a lot of leaves, kind of scary. Oh yeah, like a cloud. Let's go. Yeah, this bike is phenomenal. This suspension is so freaking plush. But I also know what I'm doing in terms of setup, so if you buy one of these and need some help, shoot me a message. I got you covered. Yo! Sick. Oh yeah. That was fun. Okay, sorry about that. If you've ever been to Kohler, you know how fun Drop the Hammer is. And big shout out to any rider who's hit it before. But anyway, back to the component spec of the Siskiu T7E. For wheels, we have Shimano hubs, which means that they're bomb-proof. Engagement isn't insane, but quite good enough. And they are laced to Entity hoops, which are 35 millimeters wide, which means they can handle some pretty massive tires. Tires are Schwalbe 29 by 2.6. What are they? Hans Dampf? Oh, crap, I forgot. Hans Dampf. So yeah, the Schwalbe Hans Dampf is not overly robust, but it's also not super light either. Kind of falls right in the middle. I think it's comparable to like maybe a Maxxis DHR. Plenty of grip, plenty of traction, not super heavy, just an all-around good trail tire. Aside from that, the Polygon Siskiu T7E is also equipped with a dropper post by Transx, which is honestly one of my favorite dropper posts. They're super reliable. On my size large, it's a 170 millimeter, which I think is more than adequate. So now that we're here at the top of the hub, I think I've covered all of the specs, which is perfect timing. Let's catch some flow on Fireline on the T7E, see how it does. Now I've had the T7E, the slightly lesser version of this bike. I can tell you this one feels way more athletic, and it's probably due to the suspension setup. I know that the Xeron on the T7E has a coil spring in the negative, which adds weight and is just not as fine-tuned and refined as having an air negative chamber. So I'm a big fan of the way that this thing's riding. Absolutely incredible. And oh my gosh, the trails. They've been really working them out here and they feel amazing. Look at these toilet bowl berms. This is amazing. And this bike loves it. Yoo! Oh my goodness. Sorry, it's hard to talk. I'm having too much fun. Look at this. Trail ribbon. Oh my gosh. This is some serious bumbling, folks. Shout out Pink Bike. Come watch this. You're gonna love it. Little wood drop. Way smaller than drop the hammer. Oh yeah. Coming to the last three. Now these need to be worked pretty bad. I've been casing them a lot. Oh, I'm sore. So that brings me to my next talking point. You get way more muscle pump managing these heavier bikes downhill. It's kind of like riding a pony versus riding a raging bull. All right, so it's no secret, I like the bike so far, but I made a quick change of locations. I'm at Slaughter Pen now because there's a lot of different types of trails that we still have yet to ride, so let's go. This next chapter is for our tech riders. We're diving in on dragon scales here in Slaughter Pen. Got to do a little bit of everything on this bike to really get an idea. Ooh, a lot of leaf coverage on this. Kind of like slippery if you hit the brakes. Definitely got to be careful. Bike feels composed. The suspension, at least the way I have it set up, is a little bit more rampy. So it's not super plush for this type of stuff. Definitely better tuned for jumps. But it's doing a great job handling it all, soaking it all up. 150 mils up front, 140 in the rear. Some other things I feel like I failed to mention earlier is that this bike does have a flip chip on it, which allows you to alter the geometry from a high and low setting. It is also mullet compatible. If you want to throw the 27.5 wheel in the back, you can do that. You just got to make sure that you're in the high setting to compensate for those changes. It's really doing very well in these rock gardens. Feel right at home. Head angle slack, but not crazy slack. As I said earlier, the wheelbase is reasonable, not super long or super short. Kind of sits right where it needs to in that trail denomination. Just an awesome bike overall. Whew. Good stuff. While we're pedaling out to one more treat of a trail, let's talk about the electronics a little bit more. A very popular topic when it comes to these e-bikes is range. Now, I haven't tested the range of this bike, I won't lie. However, I have tested the T7E, which again is the model below the T7E. It has the 540 watt-hour battery, and I did a 38-mile ride. It was kind of more of a gravel ride, so it wasn't like full-blown mountain. But I did a 38-mile ride, dabbling between boost and trail with no issues. So there's something to be said for that. Now this one has the 630 watt-hour, which means you have way more range. So I would anticipate better results. Anywho, we're coming up on the trail that I'm excited to run on this bike, so let's get to the top and enjoy. Alrighty, gang, this is the treat of a trail I told you about. This is Berm Creek. This is the Seth Trail. It's a ton of fun, so let's get into it. Coming up and around, hit the bridge, pop it. Woo-hoo-hoo! So good. Back-to-back action, it's just so freaking fun. Oh my goodness, love that trail. Might have to do it again. Whew. Yeah, so I just love this trail. Sorry for making y'all watch it twice, but that's the end of the video. If you have any questions about this bike at all, make sure to drop them in the comments. If you want to subscribe, you can, but I rarely upload, so that's your decision to make. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
So, is an e-bike for you? Well, that's not up for me to decide. What I can tell you is that in a nutshell, if you're looking for a no-compromise full-power e-bike with Trail Geo, you'd be hard-pressed to find a better candidate for your dollar than the Polygon Siskiu T7E. Remember that the ride is the cure, and I'll see you next time.